Hello, everyone. And usually, this is where I would say, welcome back to our nightly look back at a specific day in history. It'd be very upbeat and raring to go and just teeming with excitement. But I'm going to do something a little different tonight for this video because we are living in an historic time right now. Um, the coronavirus is unlike something I've ever experienced in my lifetime or ever really in my wildest dreams imagined would have been possible. Um, Up to this point, the most all encompassing, life changing event in my lifetime was obviously the September 11th attacks. And after September 11th, I was fearful that there would be another attack. But I was also mindful of the fact that I lived in rural Alabama and that my chances of dying in an attack were, so to speak, relatively low. Um, I feared more for the attack on our nation, what it would do to the psyche, the terror it would put in the hearts of me and fellow citizens. I was also 12, and you can see that I was a 12-year-old with a lot of thoughts and mind bubbles going on. Um, but this is different. Um, there's not a state in America and very few counties that coronavirus has not directly impacted. Um, the healthcare system in New York City is being stretched to its breaking point. If you hear the officials in New York City and New York State, they believe that breaking point is coming in the next week, possibly as soon as midweek. If you listen to the coronavirus task force inside the White House, Dr. Bricks, Dr. Fauci, the Vice President, the Surgeon General, they all say that this week could be the big one. Um, and it's scary. It really is. It's scary when you hear a official at the White House say, if we do everything right, if we do absolutely everything right, 100,000 Americans or more could die. And that's if we do everything right. Um, that's scary talk. That's very frightening. Um, you have people that are religious leaders that are openly flaunting and disregarding public health advisories and putting their mostly elderly congregation and sometimes uh, economically depressed congregations at risk for exposure by continuing to have mass worship services and touting the fact that they're going to have these mass gatherings on Easter. It's very troubling. Um, because I truly believe that a lot of Americans are taking this seriously and doing what's necessary. But there's a lot who aren't. Um, and we're all going to have to suffer the consequences of them doing so. Um, you obviously have to think of what comes after this. Um, I was I've done a lot of reading on the 1918 influenza outbreak recently, and research into the matter. And one thing that I found that was kind of, I think, needs to be blasted on every front page in America, and especially on every Fox News program round the clock, is this: the places that put in very lax policies regarding gatherings and events and such during this outbreak, they their economies took longer to rebound, and they had much greater tolls on their community. And the places that put in the most restrictive measures, while they did see some economic downturn, their economies bounced back quicker. Um, and maybe that's something that, instead of the short term, oh, some people are like, oh, let's get it back open. No, no, no. Let's make sure we have an economy to come back to. And if it means shutting the country down till June or July or whenever, we need to do it. Because if we don't, and we reopen the country too soon, and it gets really out of hand, and scores more people suffer and die, the results of that could be far worse. I am, like I said, I'm just very concerned right now. I also think we need to be saying a special debt of gratitude to our frontline health workers in all forms. The nurses, the doctors, the the sanitation departments at those facilities, um, firefighters, um, the first responders, police, um, grocery store workers, um, truck drivers, supply chain people. I mean, these are all people, and if I've left anyone out, I'm very, very sorry. In the healthcare field, so sorry. Um, Home health, especially those who treat for almost predominantly elderly, homebound Americans. Um, yeah. Um, we need to say a special debt of gratitude to them because they are they are in a fight. Um, it's what they've trained their whole careers for. And now's the moment of truth. We also need to say a debt of gratitude to the scientists um, for their clear and level understanding, and heed the warning of your public health officials. Um, we're going to make it through this. I have no doubt. But we need to come through it on the other side in a coherent, smart way. Um, like I said, we've not faced anything like this in decades in this country. Um, I'm not a religious person. It's, I just see more evidence that there's nothing out there than there is. Um, but for those of you who are religious, um, I encourage you, if you want to, pray. But please don't um, feel that you must do it in a large group or have a mass worship service. I know that there are two very high holy days coming up for the people of the Jewish faith with Passover and next Sunday, the holiest day of the Christian calendar, Easter. Um, you can celebrate that with a digital service or in the privacy of your own home. Because while you may not be worried, what about the people that you expose yourself to in other settings? Um, I think the most important advice I can give all of you is wash your hands, uh, wear a mask in public, and stay home. If you do not have to leave your house, do not. There will be times in the future for us to travel once again, to gather in a large setting, to watch a baseball game, to go to a movie, to travel, to enjoy the great wonders of this world. No matter where you live, that will come again. But right now, we need to stay home, be resilient, and make sure that we stop the spread of this virus because it is damaging so many segments of society. And that's all I really have to say on that at the moment. Um, I hope you all have a great night. Stay safe. And I will see you back here tomorrow. And hopefully, tomorrow I feel in the mood to do my normal upbeat, information packed video that you've come to expect. I will see you all then.